Hi everybody, happy Easter week. Good Friday today. We've been working on our Easter crates too, so if you have any interest, we still are taking orders this afternoon for Easter crates that are delivered from our mobile tool van tomorrow afternoon. And stay tuned, we're going to have a bunch of different builds like that where we can deliver at least in the Charlotte metro area. So we're here in Charlotte metro in North and South Carolina. Sorry for our friends that are international or in other states. We would love to send to you, but these are some big things, so we don't want high shipping costs. But we're gonna have all kinds of fun stuff with builds. While we can't be in a workshop, we're gonna try to bring the workshop wherever we can to the kids and to women and DIY projects where we want you to learn. So if you're here, wave at us. I've got my cameraman over there who can tell me if somebody's waving or saying hi. We really welcome everybody coming in and telling us you're here, and also the fact that you're spending 12:30 p.m. ET with us, which is lunchtime on the East Coast. So thanks for coming in. I am going to go ahead and get started and show you some of the things that we're doing today. We are actually working on what I'm calling a creation station, because I think the origination of this was supposed to be with pencil and paper. Now we've got kids that are digital, so these times, whatever fits a tablet or a Chromebook or whatever they use for school is great, right? So it's a great station for the back of a car. I know we're not doing a lot of traveling right now thanks to COVID-19, and we're social distancing on a kid's bed if they like to draw while they're doing other things in bed, or anywhere in the house if they're kind of mobile around your house. I know right now in my family we're all trying to figure out what our corner is and see, and that space continually moves. So I'm going to show you a couple finished options here. This is super simple. It requires no drilling here. This is all wood glue. So once you cut everything down, it's really fine-tuned. This is the only drilling that you will do. So honestly, you don't even have to do the drills. If you're only going to use this for an iPad holder or a Chromebook or a tablet holder, you don't need to do the accessory holder at the top. You could just do a piece of wood to hold it at the top. But we wanted to make it dual duty, so it's multifunctional. This one is hot pink for my niece, Hannah. She really likes pink right now. She's loving trolls. So what you do is a piece of plywood. We've got, these are little 1x1s. They're basically what would be a spindle in an outdoor fence. These are available at Lowe's, as are sheets of plywood. And this is just a 1x4 that I've used as my block. You can also do smaller versions that we just glue together, but you want something that's at least, make sure here, yeah, it's almost 2 inches, 1.5 inches deep, because you want something that is going to actually hold a pencil. So for this, I've used 1/4-inch bits, so you're going to want to have a power drill no matter what. You definitely want a power drill for this one. You do not need a driver because, again, you're not screwing anything in. It's all wood glue from once you drill your holes. And once you have everything, I've gone ahead and pre-cut all of my wood today because otherwise that would just be boring if you watch me cut wood over there on the saw. I have supply list, and again, you can get all of this cut down from Lowe's. Is you want something that's at least 11 inches this direction so that you can get a regular 8.5 by 11 piece of paper that you're buying at a regular store for the kids, especially if they're using it. And most tablets are about the same size, if not a little smaller. You might have like a 14-inch. You can make this any size you want, but again, at least 11 inches long for that piece. What I've done with mine, I've made it 15 inches. So it's 15 inches long and it's 9.5 inches wide. So I have extra clearance for my bottom piece as well as my top piece. And as you can see back here, maybe you can, you can't, you definitely want enough space to where that top hole isn't overlapping, or all the pieces are overlapping, so that you don't have a hole that your pen just falls right through. So again, plywood is 15 inches long by 9.5 inches. You could make it bigger if you want more of a lap desk. We have our 1x4, so you want yours, I use a lot of scrap wood. So yeah, this is 1 by 3.5, or sorry, 1.5 by 3.5, just scrap what I had laying around, but they have this in Lowe's as well, and just your spindle wood for the base so that you can have something to prop up against, especially if they're propping up their knees. So this one I actually spray painted, so this is Krylon spray paint. This one I used a 1/4-inch bit, or yeah, 1/2-inch bit, excuse me, so a bit wider bit. So Pencils, you'll be fine with something that's 1/4 inch. For something like Sharpies or markers or regular size pens, you're gonna want the 1/2 inch bit, which is, this is the Big Daddy bit that is in a bit kit from Lowe's. Craftsman has these, or you could just buy one on its own. I use this a lot. So I'm a huge fan of 1/2 inch drill bits because I make a lot of projects with holes like these, and you want a nice sizable hole. So it's about as big as you want to get without getting an industrial size kit. So those are your, and again, this was Minwax stain. If you were with me on another project I did with DIY palettes, I fell in love with this stain. It is wood finish that is vintage blue. So Minwax now has these stains that aren't all wood stains. They have colors. So there's some really cool colors. This vintage blue is awesome. So I've used it a couple times now. Your choice if you wanted to polyurethane something like that. So super simple here. I am going to show you, now that I have my 3 components, these I sawed down. You definitely want to sand. I have invested in a Craftsman sander, which is awesome. I think this is $30. You literally, these pads Velcro on and off, and I've been using this all morning, so it's a little more Velcro than normal. So they Velcro on and off, boom, you're done. Huge time saver. So great investment if it's something where you feel like you're going to be doing a lot of projects. If not, you've got your regular old blocks, which are a couple bucks at a big box retailer or definitely at Lowe's. So either will work. I like the sander just because I'm using plywood, and plywood, again, if you've got kids that are going to be working on this and you're not going to polyurethane that or clear coat it with any kind of varnish, you don't want splinters. So I definitely wanted to use my sander on the plywood because that has a tendency to be a little more rough. So my 3 components here, I'm gonna go ahead and I would be painting this first. I'm not gonna paint this today. I just wanna show you, you could spray paint these today, or when you have your project, you could stain. I would go ahead and stain your 3 pieces first, and then, what I would do before you are doing this, we're gonna do 2 steps. Sorry, I'm not practiced today. You're gonna stain, but if you are going to be creating the holes, you are gonna go ahead and do your drilling. And how I did mine, so I'll show you this part first. Sorry, it's Friday, it's a little discombobulated. What I did for my holes, so you can see I have, it looks like a dice, or a die, right? The Vegas dice. And I didn't necessarily plan this out great because what I would have loved to have is 2 holes on either end. So what I should have done is make this maybe another inch, or I could have measured out a little closer together. I just knew I had a 1/2 inch drill bit and I wanted some space in between this. You can make as many or as little of these holes as you like. I'd be careful getting them too close because then you're just gonna start splitting your wood. So what I did on this one was I measured, it's 3 1/4, and then we have 9 1/4 wide. So I know that I have at least every inch I can get 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. I can get 6 sets of holes, or 8 sets of holes. So what I did was I just used my carpenter pencil, which is over on my saw because I was using my saw this morning. Carpenter pencil, best thing on earth in your life. You can also use a regular pencil, but I like the flat pencils. And I just went all the way down. Every inch I put a mark for a hole. So what I'll do is mark a couple here. I'm going to do the same thing on this one, my block. You can come and watch me. So I know every inch, and this is not as methodical as I could be. To the side, I know that I'm at 1 1/4 for these double holes, which also means right here. And then for the second, so I'm going to show you, just because it takes a little longer time with these, I'm actually going to use this. I'm going to use my table over here just because I'm not clamping this down. This isn't necessarily OSHA approved. pretty nicely. This is a pretty good piece of wood that I'm using. I'm gonna do this one. You don't have to be perfect on it. I certainly wasn't perfect on the front. You want to be really exact. You can absolutely measure it out. And I'll show you what I'm doing here. It's going to look like I have no control over this drill, but I actually do. For something that's a 1/4 inch or a 1/2 inch like this and going straight through a big piece of wood, it has a tendency to catch the bit. So I like to open it up. So I'm actually moving this, which I'm sure someone's going to yell at me for proper drill habits, but it makes it go a little smoother. Clean that up later. And then also, I'm definitely gonna have to sand that because when you're doing something with drills this big and it's thinner wood, because this really isn't overall a super huge piece of wood, thickness wise, it's gonna come out and push the exterior out. So you're definitely gonna wanna use sandpaper or your sander here. Like, I'll sand this up really quickly just because it's an excuse for me to show you my sander. And if you're going to do extensive use with this, mask or a buff, especially right now during COVID, everybody's making their masks or they have buffs that they're using, the ones that you get from all different places, or just a t-shirt that always fits in a pinch. So I'm not going to do all of them for you, but I easily would make a grid based on my tape measure and my pencil all the way down. So you decide how many you want. Again, I did a thicker cheese board here and I made 8 sections of holes. So that's a lot of Sharpies you can get. So let's figure out 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. So 12 big pens, that's a lot. Again, you could go crazy, and especially with the 1/4 inch bit, I could have made probably twice as many holes in here for Hannah, but again, she doesn't necessarily need to have all those pens at her disposal. All right, so this is when your wood glue. Huge fan of Gorilla Glue. It works in a pinch and it will hold mighty amounts of weight. So what I always have, these are my favorites, are 3-inch clamps. I like metal rather than the plastic, but I do have plastic as well. Plastic's a little more affordable, but this is something that is really, really good to have around because of projects like this. So all I'm gonna do is show you, again, I would have painted by now, so after I had drilled, so drill your holes first, after you have your 3 pieces to perfect size, do your drilling, and then super simple stuff, you're gonna paint, so either stain it, let it dry, usually overnight for the stain, spray paint, a lot easier. It definitely will be ready in a couple of hours for you. Your choice if you want to varnish those or clear coat it, especially the stained one, knowing if it's going to get beaten up in your house a bit or really, really used. After you stain, then you're going to do your final step, which is your gluing. So I'm just going to show you quick gluing. And we're going to make sure that we cover the entire piece. So I'm meeting just at the edge here. I'm meeting and matching it on this side. So I don't have any overhang, I'm not coming up. I'm literally, just so I get that 11 inches for a piece of paper to fit on it, for a 15-inch board. This is easy cheesy, and then I'm gonna clamp it up for you. Because I'm breaking my glue. Had a little bit of a glue malfunction, so I'm just taking the cap off. I'm way over gluing that right now, but just to show you. And you do want a good connection here. This is probably going to move all about once I put a clamp on, but that's what a rag is for. Big fan of shop rags, paper towels if you have them, but I like reusable stuff so that it doesn't end up in a landfill. I can see my glue. I'm just going to take my clamps. And these things are powerful, so I have like 0 wrist strength, but I'm going to show you my embarrassing strength. Just put my clamp on. There's one. And the great thing about these clamps is that they move with you. Put one on. Two on. And that's going to give you a good solid connection so that you can make sure you don't have any drips, dribbles, etc. Rag, got a shop rag over here I was using earlier. So these come in huge bundles, big packs. You could use old t-shirts. I know everybody's cleaning out their houses right now, and we don't have donation stations in most places, so use an old t-shirt. Those are shop rags, perfect shop rags. Again, keep stuff out of landfills, right? So that's super simple. And with Gorilla Glue, this stuff's dry, especially for a small project like this. It's not an extensive amount of glue. This is dry in an easy couple of hours. So you can glue up and clamp and walk away. Make a couple of these for the kids. I love these for birthday gifts, Christmas gifts, or just right now if you're DIYing like we are. This would be something that we would be teaching the girls in Builder Girls Club because it's a great beginner project. We would have them use the saws and get used to what it feels like to make a project for what we call small wins. So same thing, I'm not gonna go ahead and glue this because I'm not ready to. I still need to make my drill holes, and I could paint this too. So it's really your choice. If I was staining, I would definitely stain ahead of time because I don't want the glue marks into my stain. It will definitely soak that in and you'll see it'll look like an imperfection. But if I'm just spray painting, I could easily go ahead, drill the rest here and then glue it up and then go out and spray paint out in our backyard. So not doing that, but I do want to show you exactly where I would do it. So I just want to make sure that I have measured correctly. So before you, so I have exactly 11, and I know I have a little bit of space to play with based on my holes there. So you will have an overhang if you're using this 15-inch piece. And you don't want to get too much longer than this because, again, especially if this is for a kid, it's just bulky. You don't want them to have to try to navigate something that's like 20 inches long. You could go wider for sure, but I don't necessarily recommend that you go longer. So you can see there, I've got a lip and an overhang, but it's just enough so that I can still put a pen in there. And it's not, and I use my 1/4-inch bit on this one, and it's not going to drop through, but I still have enough space for a full 8.5 11 by piece of paper. So it's just that simple. Again, pre-cut wood is always available to you at Lowe's or a big box warehouse retailer. Clearly I'm a fan of Lowe's. And I'm just going to put this down and show you again our finished projects because I'm very excited to see yours. So here's a finished project again with the 1/2-inch bit. These are so fun. These are good for kids too. We teach a lot of foundational hammer and drill skills to kids. So 9 years and above. 9 to 12 is our Explorer Girls. 12 to 14 is our Builder Girls Club, which is middle school. They can take on a little more advanced projects. But 2 out of 1,000 girls have picked up power drills in America by the age of 16. So 9 times out of 10, none of these girls have picked up a drill, no matter what age they are. So we always start with hammers and nails, and then we go on to drill skills. So this is a good one to get practice. In our Builder Girls Club, we actually do these blocks where they can get speed down. They can also get, here's the diameter of the holes, here's what I have to measure for, and just get a lot of confidence with different drill bits. So this is a fun project for kids, again, with parental advisement. This is not one that I would just let the kids have the stuff and walk away. So we always have to give that caveat, but it's a lot of fun. So we used, for this one, I used chalk markers at the bottom to do her name. So you could decorate this a million different ways. That's for you all to be super creative. I was not super creative. Mine is super bright pink paint on this one. So again, these are more for the crayons or for colored pencils, regular pencils, pens, etc. for the 1/4-inch bit. So have fun, go explore, make a creation station. I bet you can make it pretty awesome and personalized yourself. So tag us with what you find and what you make. And as always, you can follow us on YouTube at She Built the City and find other DIY videos. Happy Easter.